Man, that was one of the latest games I've ever been a part of. We didn't get home till about 2:30. Guys are just trying to do what they can. You don't want it to be an excuse, but it's definitely different. Welcome back to another episode of Not Just Football with Cam Heyward. You know me, and you know my friend Hayden Walsh. Today we have a special episode for you. We got to interview some people at the Steelers style show, fashion show, and we had Larry Ogunjobi and Pat Freiermuth. They were the co-captains. We got Mr. and Mrs. Rooney as well. And then we were also joined by Kia Tomlin and Mayce Tomlin, who performed at the show. Have a listen later on. But first, we got to jump into some big news. Hayden, you excited for this week?
Yeah, excited. Obviously, Sunday was tough, but there's already been major news this week in the NFL. Do you want to start first down right now?
Yeah, let's go. 3 and out. Here we
All
go.
right, first down right now. We're going to go 3 and out. Jets announced this morning they fired Robert Saleh. Very strange. Only 5 games in. I think the timing is kind of weird on that. I think the craziest part, though, Cam, is that it was said that he needed to be escorted out by security. I know you've obviously never dealt with a firing of a coach. You've had 2 since you've been in college.
Yeah.
But what do you think this is like going on in the Jets locker room?
So I'm thinking about, Saleh being fired. I never want to see anybody get fired. That's, I think it's way too early in the season, but I can't be in their locker room, so I don't know what's happening. But all I can imagine in my head is just the Office clip of when Michael gets fired and they have to remove him off the property. And then like he's hiding underneath, the table and asking questions, trying to get people to join him. But man, to be escorted off, not have a chance to even talk to your teammates, I think that's pretty wild. I think you put in a lot of time, you put in a lot of work. You hopefully think you're going to finish out the season at least, but man, what are we looking at? 5 games so far, and to get fired this early? That London trip, you come on the wrong end of that. It is not a pretty sight because coaches, players, owners have a long time to think on that ride home.
I mean, that's my point. I agree they're not playing well, but we're only 5 games in, and the offense hasn't really gotten going. The defense has kind of been struggling, but I'm also like not letting him speak to the guys. Maybe everyone didn't get along with him, but you got to think there's some guys in that locker room that wanted to at least hear from him on this, right?
You would think, it's not being a player's coach or a coach's coach. I think you just, want to say thank you. Wish it would have worked out better, but man. It's not like Saleh's not going to have a job after this. He's going to be a DC somewhere. When he was with the 49ers, he was coaching up a storm, and he had the pick of the litter when it came to the head coaching jobs. But he'll bounce back. Let's see what the team does from here on out.
I can't believe he was the first guy gone this year, and to do it 5 games in. It's got to be weird. I don't know who's taking over. Did they announce? Do you know who's taking over for him?
Oh, I do not know off the top of my head, but it's tough because you can't give it to your DC, you can't give it to your OC because there's just a lot on their plate as it is. But someone's gonna have to step up, and then it just becomes a group led by example. There's no one to really fall on the sword. So we'll see what happens, man. It's here it is. Jeff Ulbrich is going to be the interim head coach, but it is going to be a tough sled and just to replace your head coach in that front.
That's got to be extremely challenging for Jeff, though, too, right? I mean, coming in, you're kind of thrown in there. It's like hopefully they told him before he showed up for work today that he was like going to be the guy. Right?
What's the difference in telling him as you show up for work or not? Like it's still, damn, I haven't had an entire offseason to really prepare for like this. This is going to be moving pretty fast, and hopefully he's ready for the job.
That office reference, though, of when Michael's going to start Michael Scott Paper Company is a good one. I was also thinking of the Jamal Adams clip where he's trying to use his key card and it wasn't working. I'm surprised they didn't just do him like that. I mean, that'd be more dignified than having him escorted out by security.
Bro, in the social media world, they probably put Saleh's face on, Jamal Adams' body and had him go to it. Like, everybody's already got a GIF or a meme or, something to, recognize this moment.
Yeah, all crazy. Let's go to second down. We're going to stay in that same division. The New England Patriots just announced that they're going to start rookie Drake May. I Kind of shocked this is happening this fast too. It's almost like 5 games in. Why not maybe let him start the whole year out, right?
Well, I know they made a change at running back last week with Ramondre Stevenson, who had fumbled the first 4 weeks, had a fumble in each of the 4 weeks. But, I thought he played well this past week. But I think they're kind of just, seeing what works. I'm a big Jacoby Brissett fan. He comes in, manages an offense, works within the scheme. But I understand that they're going to try and get some looks for a guy like Drake May to, get more football under his belt. Let him feel more confident. That's where they were doing the one game they got blown out in, and didn't change the outcome of the game. But they were trying to get him reps just to make sure he's ready. Now we're just going to see what the Drake May era looks like. So it's going to be a little different. I think. Putting a quarterback at risk this early can be tough, but hopefully he's got a right head and right shoulders to get it done.
Have you watched much of Drake May?
No, I haven't.
Did you have any opinion on him pre-draft?
No, I have no opinion right now. I don't study quarterbacks right now. Like in my free time, I'm not just pulling up quarterback highlights like some of my friends do.
Well, that felt like a shot at me here, okay? But first off, I think it's fair to go at least, it's not crazy for you to go check out what Drake May's bringing to the table. It's a guy you may have to play a little bit. I think he's a big, strong athlete with a great arm, and he's kind of been one of those guys who was considered a high prospect even before he was eligible for the draft. So, I think it's right now it's a time of you got to find out if we got the guy, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's so quick to do that, and we'll see how he does, but I don't know. I just think 5 games in, you're making that decision. It's like, why not just start him at the beginning of the year?
I think for coaches, players, patience is key. It's a wild, crazy year. There's a lot that can happen. Don't jump off ship. Don't jump onto a new ship. Stay the course. Fix the problems.
Yeah, I guess you're trying to avoid the Bryce Young thing, too, where you put him out there maybe too fast and – then now we know what that situation's like in Carolina.
Yes.
All right, let's go to third down here.
Mm-hmm.
College football was insane this weekend. Upsets, comebacks. My 2 big ones, though. Miami coming back from 25 down, which I don't think anybody was up to see because it started at 10:30, which I was awake, though. It was an incredible game. And then also Vandy taking out Alabama at home. And, man, this ain't our old Vandy, man. That was a great game by them.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game. I'll talk more about them later, but the Miami comeback, didn't really get to see it live. When I'm thinking about being down 25 points, I think back to what one of my D-line coaches used to say. He would just say, if you're down 21, that's 3 plays, and try to shorten it down. And you're like, man, what the hell is he talking about? Like 3 plays, and it's very simple, but you start to build momentum once you get 1 score and then 2 scores. And then the doubt starts to creep in for the other team that's been up this whole time. But, man, tip your cap to him. I know Michael Irvin was praying on the ground, doing whatever it took. But, Miami coming back. Cam Ward's looking like something special this year.
No, it was a great comeback. Have you ever been a part of one of those games, though, on either side where, like, you're up big or you're down big and you can almost feel the momentum shifting?
Ooh, years ago during the COVID season, we were playing the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know how much we were down, but we were down a good bit. And we didn't play that well. We needed this game to clinch the AFC North. And there's no fans to really rally around. It's very quiet out there. But I just remember we got like a touchdown coming out. We got some big stops. And you can just feel like the avalanche just keep growing, and then like just to flip it over and kind of just seize the moment. Those are one of those times I remember where we overcame a lot.
I've actually seen some people say they don't believe in momentum. So you really do believe, though, that happened? It's just like an avalanche.
How do you not believe in the Big Mo? The Big Mo.
I've seen some people say that. Okay, I've seen people say
momentum is everything. You can either create it or you can lose it. You got to be an energy bringer. You got to make sure, you're the reason why the momentum's happening. Sometimes a lack of energy can create that doubt, or you start to take your foot off the gas. But momentum is key. I think all Super Bowl winners start to get hot at a certain time. It's not just like, oh, we've dominated everybody all year long, and then boom, you're in the Super Bowl. You just kind of find your way through, and then in December, you look at those teams and say, oh man, they got a chance to really go far.
Yeah, no. One of my favorite things, though, the last couple of days. Obviously, I'm in Georgia at the moment, so I'm in Southeast country and the SEC country, and listening to the Alabama fans call into the Paul Feinbaum show the last couple of days has been fantastic. They are in shambles right now. So I think that win that Vandy got is not only program changing for them, but it's funny. Alabama beats Georgia last week. They're the number one team. Come back this week, lose to Vandy. It's amazing how quick in college football things can change.
Yeah, I'll save my opinion for our game balls. And
Yeah, I think we both are going to that game. All right, real quick though on college football.
Fourth and out.
Ohio State,
our punter pass right here.
No,
fourth down.
Well, no, I'm gonna go. I want to get your first Ohio State at Oregon first test this year for you guys. I don't really think you've been challenged yet. This will be a test this week.
It will be a test. I don't know if it's our first test. Every game's a test. You learn from it.
Who is the best team you've played? Be honest. Don't say Iowa.
Iowa played tough early on. Michigan State played tough early on. It's not the glamorous pick, but you can learn a lot about yourself in those matchups. But looking at this Ohio State Oregon matchup, this is the one everybody's been circling. Oregon's got a good team up there. We've got a good team. We've got some experience. Oregon lost a lot last year. We look at who went to the draft. But these teams, they're vying for a spot in the Big Ten championship. And so the one thing I'm glad the Big Ten went away from was having, the split conference where, you get the East teams and the West teams, because then you're not rewarding the two best teams in the conference. So this could be a preview of that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think they're both probably the favorite to get to Indianapolis this year. They're the two best teams, I think, in the conference by far. I'm excited to see you guys go up into that building and play. I think that's a tough place to play for anybody.
Yeah, so Eugene. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. It's going to be fun. Yeah. I always love playing against Oregon. The one time I got to play against Oregon, you get jealous because Nike's just providing clothes, shoes, you name it. It's just it's a kid's dream to go to Nike's Oregon's campus with all the Nike stuff. But it's fun to play against a team that has those high-powered offenses. Hopefully, our defense is ready for that and ready to seek that challenge out.
You only like playing Oregon because the one time you played them, you beat them in the Rose Bowl. Let's be real about it. That's the only reason why you said that. Yeah. You played pretty good that game too.
The Rose Bowl, just the Rose Bowl.
All right, yeah. I said that's a pretty good one to win. All right, let's go to fourth down here. Last week, one of our favorite shows has started, Love is Blind. Neither one of us have watched every episode yet. Now, we're only 2 episodes in, but first impressions so far, and we'll obviously keep addressing this as the show's going.
First impressions. There's a guy on there. I don't want to use names. I know his name. But okay, I'll say his name. Leo. And, he says he's not looking for money. He's not looking for someone who's looking for money. He doesn't not looking for a gold digger. But you know what? All he keeps talking about is money. And all he keeps showing off is money. I watch this show and all I think about is, man, I am lucky I'm not in the dating world and having to deal with this Love is Blind stuff. Another guy that is, from the sports world, I will say, Nick D. He talks about how he played in the XFL, and he lived out his college dreams. He was a kicker. At first I was like, man, this guy is cocky, but he's coming around, and excited to see where he lands up to because looks a little shaky there.
Totally agree. Leo is the worst. I mean, that guy. Every chance he gets, he's showing off his Rolex or talking about how much money he's got. I feel bad for his backstory, obviously, because he seems like he's been through a lot. But my goodness, dude, you got to stop. And then, and Nick D, I agree with. I think at first really didn't like him. He even at one point said he was better looking than Travis Kelce. It's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on there, but he seemed to have grown on me a little bit through the second episode.
I will say my MVP though is Tyler. He talks about how he likes to cook. Doesn't want to live in the 1940s where you split jobs. I think, he seems to have a level head. I'm wondering, is Love is Blind going to change his life, and then he's just going to be acting totally different? That's what all I wonder about. Like, I love when we do the recap episodes, and you look back and you say, man, they started off here, and they are completely here now. And so, it's going to be an interesting show. Those are my thoughts to start off with.
Yeah, I agree. I like Tyler too, but I will say I think Brittany and Leo are a match made in heaven. I think that's who needs to be together. I think Brittany wants to live the lifestyle Leo wants to provide, and I think that's who needs to stay together. Now, I will say at the end of episode 2, Leo mishandled that one terribly. No,
it wasn't Leo who mishandled it. It was Hannah. Hannah mishandled it from West Virginia. She was stuck between Leo and Nick D. She got rid of Nick D, and I don't understand why.
But Leo was with Brittany as well, and then at one point he's telling Brittany, before I came in here, you were number 2. Now you're both 1A, 1B, which no woman ever wants to hear that they are 1A, 1B. What are you thinking? And then she starts crying, and I'm sorry, that guy handled that horribly wrong. That's who he needs to be with, though. Brittany seems to want that lifestyle, and Leo wants to give it to her bad. So I'm excited for it. I think the show's going to be good. I think the drama is coming, though, once we leave those pods, baby.
Yeah.
It's going to get real fun. I just want to know who ends up with who. So we need to finish up this next couple episodes. But, yes, very good start to Love is Blind.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about, the Sunday Night Football game against the Cowboys. It's a tough game, man. We had a chance to win it at the end. Didn't play our best football. One positive I think we had in that game is we got a lot of turnovers, prevented some touchdowns. You get interception by Joey Porter Jr., get another interception by Dante Jackson. You get a blocked kick by Isaiah Loudermilk. And then, man, I'm kicking myself because we had a chance to get that fumble at the end and really seal the deal. I think just unfortunate that we, weren't able to capitalize on the last one.
Yeah, that Landon Roberts play. I mean, it looked like the water boy out there. I mean, that was what a hit.
Yeah.
I do want to know, though, you guys, it felt like a bend but don't break. I mean, Dak threw for 352 and Dowdle ran for 87, but you got the 3 turnovers and the block punt. Is it kind of like a weird, like, you clearly didn't play your best, but the turnovers were there to kind of make you feel a little bit better?
Doesn't make me feel better at all. I still feel like crap about it. A lot of things were on the perimeter, quick passes, get to the receivers, and then they had success late running the ball. Just can't have that. We had sacks, we had a fumble recovery by Nick Herbig, but TJ had some good pressure throughout the entire game. So when you look at that, there are some positives, but not enough. Offense put up enough points. Defense has got to clearly hold them and make sure they don't score.
How frustrating was that final drive? I mean, that's got to be what you guys always want, and you just can't get it done.
It's only frustrating that they scored. You couldn't have told me we get down to the red zone 3 stops in a row. We weren't going to get off that field. It felt like it was positioned for us, especially after that fumble. It felt like we had a good opportunity to get off. But, man, you got to take your lumps and tip your cap to them.
Yeah, and so one thing I've noticed, the first couple weeks of the season, you guys were dominant on third downs. Mm-hmm. The last 2 weeks, and this is from Alex, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Kozora?
Kozora.
From Steelers Depot. He said, versus the Colts, you guys gave up 8 of 15, and versus the Cowboys, you gave up 9 of 14 third downs. That is the money down. We always talk about that. What do you attribute to the lack of success now the last 2 weeks on third down?
Well, I think one thing, that's a lot of third downs. That means we're not getting out the field early enough in their sustaining drives. But, it's not like they're third and short always. It's third and long. And, we're not capitalizing enough in those opportunities to get off the field. Third and long should be an advantage for the defense, not the offense.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, let's get a bounce back. Let's look ahead now.
Yeah, let's look.
Okay, let's look ahead to the Raiders game.
Yes.
Going to Vegas this week. What are you seeing from them? There's obviously a lot going on around that team right now, but on the field, what are you seeing from them?
Man, first I think it starts with their front. It starts with a guy named Max Crosby that, plays with his hair on fire, is always making big plays. A lot of energy that comes from him. He's joined by Christian Wilkins. He came over from Miami, who, he can get off blocks, use his hands, and be a terror in the backfield. And then on the other side of the ball, they have a lot of, things going on. But I think the thing you can take as a positive for them is Brock Bowers. You can definitely see he's really coming on, and he's a rookie that's having a lot of success, short to long, and really making plays for himself.
What about the quarterback situation? I read they're kind of mulling who they might go with, O'Connell or Minshew. Does that change preparation at all?
I don't know if it changes preparation. I think scheme-wise, you know what to expect, but it's, we got to be prepared for. We got to be prepared for both, and we got to look forward to trying to get after this run and then get after the pass.
Yeah, I mean it's a big one. Obviously, got to come back. I do want to ask you, though. I think you're a big Max Crosby guy. You like the way he plays, huh?
Love the way he plays. Max plays hard. I think he plays the way the game should be played. As a defender, you talk mess, you back it up, and Max does that week in and week out.
He does. I remember that quarterback documentary. He just kept giving it to Mahomes, punching him in the arm and stuff. I'm like, I love the way that guy plays, man. He's a hell of a player.
Yeah.
So. Going to be tough, though, to stop him this week and crucial, right? That's got to be the main thing the offense is worried about.
Week in and week out, you look at that guy and you say he travels with two guys. There's no way you leave him on an island or you're gonna be in for a long day. He is, man, top 5 at his position. So,
thank you. I was actually going to ask you, where do you rank him? Is he top 5, top 3?
Top 5.
He's up
top
there.
5. It's TJ, Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, him. Those are the guys that, man, you can't look any further. But they rush their tails off.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go. And by the way, I was worried that my beard was causing the losing streak, so I'm going to shave after this episode, and we're going to start winning. A little win streak coming on, okay?
You want me to shave too?
Hey, if you want to. Should we go goatees? We should go goatees maybe.
I'll just shave it down. How about that?
Yeah. All right, go shave it down, and then we'll start a new win streak.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah, okay. Love it.
Now I want to throw to our interviews at the fashion show. Have a listen. Tell us what you think, and we'll see you. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to the Steelers for having us today. Welcome to Not Just Football. This is our podcast. We've been doing it for about 3 years. I'm joined by Hayden Walsh. As you know, I'm Cam Heyward. But we are going to have a fun night tonight. We got some really good guests. But Hayden, you looking forward to this?
Very excited. I've never been to this event, so this is the first time for me.
Yes, it's no longer the rock show. It is the Steelers style fashion show. And we will be seeing some guys pretty cleaned up. They don't really look like this on Sundays, but I'm looking forward to tonight.
Who do you think is the best dressed tonight? Not
Besides
you.
me?
Not you, obviously.
Besides
not you.
me?
Yeah, the suit looks great, by the way. Everybody
Thank
is
you.
very shocked
Thank
by
you.
it.
Yeah, everybody is surprised that
Yeah.
I dressed this nicely, but we will have some fun. I think Larry Ogunjobi, one of our co-captains tonight, will be doing it. What about you?
Deshaun Elliott. I've heard his name a lot at training camp when we asked who the best dressed is. I'm going to go Deshaun Elliott is the best dressed tonight.
What about worst dress?
Is Connor Heyward here?
I second that.
If
Connor
not,
Heyward is.
I don't know. I'm not going to call anybody out if not Connor.
There's some other guys. I don't know if they're going to show up, but we'll see. But they have a track record for being the worst dressed today.
Name names. Who is it?
Nick Herbig, TJ Watt, the O-line. They struggle with their fashion, so should be interesting.
Herbig's name was mentioned quite a bit when we asked that question. So unfortunately, that one makes sense.
It's crazy. Hearing about this fashion show, it's been going on for 50 years. Can you believe that?
No, 50. Wow. That's
50 years. I think we had Tony Dungy come by this week, and he was even talking about he was in the fashion show when he was here.
Was he really?
Yeah.
How many of these have you done? How many of you walked in?
14.
You've walked in every one?
Yeah, you got to show up.
Man. You weren't practicing the strut today, though. I was a little concerned about it.
No strut from me.
No.
I want to make sure everybody knows this is co-hosted by the Rooneys and the Tomlins. And then this all goes back to raising money for research. It's an honor. It benefits the UPMC Sports Medicine Concussion Program, Cancer Bridges, and the Chuck Knoll Foundation for Brain Injury Research. So it's for a good cause. Thank you guys for coming out. We're going to have a great time. And there's a silent auction going on today. Runs through October 11th. And so make sure you bid on some really cool items.
Nice. You going to bid on anything tonight?
I'm going to try to keep my wallet in my pocket and make sure I don't spend too much money.
Birthday is next May. Why don't you get me an early birthday present? You bid on something for me tonight.
Whoa. Let me talk about some of the gifts we have at this auction. We have the Steelers Hall of Honor Museum Private Tour, Steelers Bear Bradley Package, Steelers Game Day Getaway for 2 guests, so you can be taking your wife somewhere, a change to design the next terrible towel. I know everybody wants to design their own terrible towel. That would be a really cool item to have. What else do we have? And many more things. Oh, and by the way, we have a special performance tonight by Mason Tomlin, also goes by Mayce, Mike T's son. So everybody get excited for that as well. It should be a special night tonight.
Yeah, very excited to hear Mason Tomlin perform. I didn't know he was a musician, so I'm excited about that.
And guess what else we have today? You ready for this? We got 2 veterans, Rocky Blyer, Mel Blount, coming out tonight. So it's going to be a great opportunity to celebrate some Super Bowl memories from here on out.
They've been doing that for 50 years, huh? They've been coming to these for 50 years.
Yeah, they've been coming for a while. I don't know if Mel Blount's been coming 50 years, but he's been coming a while. But it should be a great event. Got some great guests. I want to say thank you to everybody for coming out. Thank you to the Steelers. We're going to have some fun tonight. Some great guests again, Mike T and others. So look forward to seeing you there. All right, we are joined by one of our performers tonight and the wife of our head coach, Mike T. I would like to give it up for Kia Tomlin and Mason Tomlin. You guys ready for tonight?
Absolutely.
You sure?
How could you not be?
I'm not doing any rapping, so that is all you today.
It's much easier than filling A gaps.
That depends who you ask, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Okay, this is for your mom right now. I want to know, did you dress Mike T tonight?
I had a little input.
Does he give you any lip about what he needs to wear or what he needs to have when it comes to style?
A little bit, but he's very contained in what I have to select from. So there's really not a lot of decisions to be made. I'm very limited.
You couldn't see him wearing this suit?
Absolutely not.
No. Not ever once.
I would love if he did, but absolutely not.
Okay, so that's going to be the Christmas present this year.
Make it happen.
Yes. Let's talk about this guy. When did you know he was going to be a rapper?
You know what? Probably when he was about 14 and he showed some interest. I actually asked a friend who was in the music industry to listen to it and be like, hey, is there anything here or should we shut this down now? and the person said, no, he's talented. And so I said, all right, we'll let him pursue it.
Wow. Have they always been supportive?
Extremely, yeah. I mean, like more than you think parents would be when you tell them, like, I'm going to be a rapper. You know what I mean?
I want to hear what Mike T said to you when you told him you were going to be a rapper.
It was kind of his idea, to be honest with you, because I was more into, like, producing and making beats.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah. He's like, you got to be an MC. Like, obviously, he's older, so he framed it in a way that felt like Coach T, but he was like, rapping is where it's at. Like, if you're gonna be in this, like, shoot for the stars, essentially. So I was like, let's do it.
I want to bring up Big Bro. I've been told he's the villain of the kids by your dad, Dino Tomlin. How's he looking this so far this year?
He's good. I talked to him earlier today. I wouldn't agree that he's the villain. I think it's kind of me in that the other two siblings like to team up and mess with me. But really, it's my sister. My sister runs the house, and she knows it. So, but that's okay. She's the youngest. She's the only girl.
What do you think about that? Who's the villain?
Well, I know I run the house, so I'm just going to leave it
I was
there.
gonna say, Mom's sitting right here. She runs the house.
What's it like having a husband and a father in the NFL?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know anything different. We've been married since we, graduated from college. I don't know what it would be like to be married to somebody that worked a 9-to-5 job and was home every weekend. So I have to say I kind of like it, but I don't have anything to compare it to. So.
Yeah, I would say, it's just I grew up around it. So, it's kind of just like people make it like, oh, it's like a big deal because he's the head coach. I'm like, he's just going to work. You know what I mean?
But like for me, like I knew I always had an extra pressure with that, and having to deal with, someone that's in, the limelight a bunch or someone that's always around. So people are going to try you. People are going to do whatever. How do you deal with that?
I enjoy it. But to that
See,
point,
that's the depicted side where you get that from your dad.
Yeah.
Just trying to be petty.
Yeah, I was like, if people didn't care, you wouldn't be doing it at a high enough level. You know what I mean? The higher of a level you do anything at, there's going to be more people waiting to see you fail. It's why everybody wants to see us lose. Pittsburgh Steelers, you know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Speak to where you want your career in rap to go.
I'm trying to be the biggest rapper on the planet. Sell out arenas, you name it. So.
Talk about your fashion that has taken off and all the T-shirts. Does he actually have input when it comes to these T-shirts?
No. He's just starting to get input. Usually I would kind of just, sneak and do them because I know he didn't like that I was doing them. He didn't want T-shirts made.
What?
Yeah, he did not want that done.
Oh, he brags about the T-shirts.
Oh, now he does.
Yes.
Now he does. Now
It's
he'll ask
he,
me
they're
how
just
they're
things
selling.
that he says. It's just things that he says, so he doesn't find it funny or
No,
enjoyable.
he thinks that we're making fun of him.
And we're like, no, we're
You
laughing.
are,
Yeah,
but-
no, but we're laughing with him. We're laughing with him.
Well, the way he talks, do you guys ever get sick of it? He's such a great speaker, but
All the time.
Don't blink. How many times have you been told not to blink?
Oh my God, he knows he's supposed to leave that at work.
Okay.
Occasionally it sneaks in. We've heard it all. But yeah, he's supposed to leave that at work.
Okay.
How would you rate your dad's style?
Style? I feel like he plays his lane well. Like, he's not trying to be somebody he's not.
Right.
He's not dressing like he's 22. He's not dressing like he's 80. He's down the fairway with it. I'm going to give it I give it a 7, 6.
Yes. Okay. What about you? What do you think?
I'm gonna give it a little higher. I give it an 8 because I think it doesn't matter what he has on. He's got the swag and the confidence to pull it off. So I think it's the attitude that he can kind of wear anything.
Now you made me feel like a hater.
Well, as a son, you're supposed to be the hater, right?
Yeah.
You brought up swag. Who do you think is going to win the style swag award tonight?
I don't know if that's a sleeper. My sleeper is Broderick.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
I know
about
you
that.
don't want to
keep
hear that.
sleeping.
about
I know
that.
you
Keep
don't want to
sleeping.
hear that.
It's
But I'm
not
gonna
me.
go Broderick.
You're going to keep sleeping on that one.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know
great.
about that one.
Kia, do you have anybody?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with JPJ.
Okay.
No,
He was actually mentioned though as one of the best dressers on the team when we asked
I
everybody.
don't buy it.
The only reason he was mentioned is because he mentioned him himself.
No, Connor mentioned him too.
No. Who do you think is going to be the worst dressed?
Herbig.
It's always a Herbig. It's always a Herbig, man.
You can be delicate with this. Do
Yeah.
you think anyone's going to be worst dressed tonight?
I mean, I think there's going to be a few players that put very little effort into it and just have their. I'm not going to name anybody, but just
So
have their regular.
how long have you been a part of the fashion show?
Since we got here, as soon as we got here, and they realized I'm a fashion designer, I sucked right in. So this will be our 18th year.
Wow. Is there been anything that's stand out in that time?
Every every year is pretty different, yet still kind of the same. So I don't know that I could say anything stands out specifically. Just each year, I feel like we get better.
Yeah. When my team mentioned today, it's been 50 years of them just doing a fashion show. I was like, you start to think about the names. Like Tony Dungy was in the fashion show. Like that is commitment that keep putting this thing on, and I just think it's unbelievable to see where it's taken off.
I want to know, listening to whatever your dad listened to in the car, did that influence you to go into music, or did it make you want to go opposite of whatever he was listening to?
Yeah, I would say listening to music with my dad, both of my parents actually, because they have very different music tastes. I think, but listening to music with my dad is what got me into rap music and like the rhythms and stuff. Because he always was like big on hip hop and like what's real hip hop and what's not real hip hop. So I kind of grew up in like an old head hip hop mentality in that sense. He forces me to study the greats.
I appreciate that, though.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
You can't hate it. It's not necessarily what I listen to now, but I grew up with an appreciation for it because of him.
Who are you listening to now?
I listen to a lot of everything and a lot of nothing at the same time. Just because I make music, you have to separate yourself a little bit to be your own person. So you're not like trying to emulate your favorites, and if that makes sense.
I like that. I want to ask you, have you guys seen a difference in your dad as he's grown through this? And, being the first black head coach with the Pittsburgh Steelers, have you seen a difference to now?
I have. I feel like when we first got here, it was very intense. Very intense. And now I think he's more comfortable in his role and in his interactions with the players. I think when we first got here, he was so young and had to kind of prove himself as in not being the same age as the players. And now he's more of like a father figure role, and he's comfortable with that.
Well, I call him old man now, so I make sure he knows he's one of the older coaches in the league. Yeah. And he throws it back in my face because I'm one of the older players, but we go back and forth, and I think our relationship is just, he pokes and prods at work. Does he do that to you at home?
Yes. To get reactions out of you?
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. It builds character.
Who's the most petty of the group, of the family? Most petty?
Dino?
Yeah, Dino. I think it's either Dino or Dad,
It's
but
Dino
they're
or
kind of the
Dad,
same person.
I'll say Cam always says it's Coach he said he's pettier
I can
than
see
him.
Harley I've met Harley a couple times. I can see Harley being very petty as well.
Not as much as Dino and my dad.
Yeah.
Well, he was telling me about, she's in gymnastics, and, he tries to, he wants to meet all the gymnastics. He's like, oh, she's really good. Did you know that? And he's rubbing it in her face.
Yeah.
Does he do that to you with any rappers?
Not as much. I don't know if he's in tune enough with what's actually happening in the current moment. You know what I mean? Like, he knows I'm good because he hears my music, but I don't know that he listens to enough music to compare it to like the greater scope of what's happening.
Last thing, I want to make sure we say thank you to you, because you deal with so much with him at work. We take him from you. We are very appreciative of his time, your time. I don't know how you keep it all together, but you got 2 great sons, a daughter, and, I don't think we give you enough credit for what you do. And you're a fashion designer. Like, you put this together. You are doing so much. I think we just need to give a round of applause for Kia Tomlin right now.
Thank you.
And I want to make sure everybody knows Mason is performing tonight. You're going by Mayce tonight, right?
Yeah.
Mayce. I want to make sure I get that right. So everybody, give it up for Mayce and Kia Tomlin right now. They're going to get put on a hell of a show tonight. All right, we are now joined by the owners of the Steelers football team, Mr. Rooney and Mrs. Rooney. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks, Cam.
Great to be with you, Cam, especially dressed as wonderfully as you're dressed tonight.
I was going to ask, though, before
Very
I'm glad they brought it
appropriate.
up. I got to ask. Rate his fit. Do you guys like his suit? He's been so self-conscious about it all day. People have been commenting on it.
They said rate my fit or rate my suit.
Oh, suit. This is a 10.
I agree. For a fashion show, what are you going to do? You got to
I
dress
said,
out.
I said that we need to make sure we get Mr. Rooney a suit like this.
I agree.
let's put Art in that and get him the chain also.
Ooh, can we get Mr. Rooney in a chain?
I don't know about that.
So it's an awesome night to be out here. I heard it's been going on 50 years. I cannot believe that.
This is the
50
50th
years.
year.
Wow. You know, I think we had Tony Dungy come by this year or this week, and he had mentioned he was in the fashion show. Can you guys just speak to all the greats who participated in this?
Well, Greta did a nice job pulling out some historic photos that we're going to see at part of the show tonight. But it's everybody from the 70s, Rocky Blyer, Moon Mullins, Bradshaw, Swan. But the funny part about it is I didn't remember this until I saw the photos, but for some reason those guys, they all got into wearing fur coats for the fashion show. So it might be a trend you need to get back to one of these days.
I don't know if I'm pulling off a fur coat. We got to get you in a fur coat first. How about that?
I don't think I can do a fur coat.
I also, so there's pictures tonight. I saw one where they have a car on the stage. They have a big car on the stage. So you'll see the pictures tonight. It's pretty
Ooh,
cool.
I can't wait to see
Yes.
those. Is there anybody you think that's going to be pretty well dressed tonight?
You know, I think our co-captains are planning to be pretty, I saw Larry coming in with a big suit over his shoulder. I don't know what was in the bag, but I think it was something special.
Larry does not disappoint. Larry will be ready for the moment. Is there anybody over the years who you've thought, why did he come to the fashion show, or you've been nervous about?
Well, we were always nervous about AB and what he would do when he got to the fashion show. AB and Le'Veon used to come together and make a quick appearance and go. So it was a little nerve-wracking.
Who was the fun one that wore the cowboy hat? This was not long ago.
I know Ben used to wear the cowboy hat.
And Mel will be here tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of cowboy hats.
The original cowboy.
Right.
That will be awesome. I have to ask, we have a big game Sunday versus Dallas. Can you guys just talk about the history with that team?
Well, of course, it became a big rivalry back in the 70s when we played them twice in the Super Bowl and beat them twice in the Super Bowl in the 70s. And they were great games. And, I think in one of those games there were 13 players on the field from both sides wound up in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
So some great games and it became a great rivalry.
I want to make sure that we highlight you because this event doesn't happen without your support, you putting this thing all together. So I want to make sure everybody gives a round of applause for Mrs. Rooney.
Thanks, Cam.
Oh, good. Thank you, Cam.
And Cam, I'm proud of you.
Proud of
14
me.
years we've been with
14
you.
years, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say my fashion has changed in 14 years.
How has it evolved?
Thank you, Allie.
It's not this. Yes, thank you to my wife because I could not do this without her.
Thank you.
One request though, how can we get Mr. Rooney to walk during the fashion show?
Well, I bought a new suit for this occasion tonight.
I love the suit. I just want to make
It
sure
looks
everybody
great.
recognizes
First time
it.
I ever wore it.
Thanks, Cam. See ya.
Thank you so much for coming on. All right, guys. Now we are joined. Give it up for these two, Larry Ogunjobi and Pat Freiermuth. There we go. How do you feel about the move? How you feel about that?
I love it. It's
love it?
awesome. It's
I don't know what we could do for you, Larry. Larry! All right. So you guys are the co-captains tonight. What should we expect from you guys?
wonderful show. Lots of energy, good vibes.
Good vibes.
Great
I know
vibes.
that's from Larry. What about you?
Great vibes. Larry's going to be running away with it. Can't wait to support him.
All right. Let's get a little petty. Who's going to be the Styles MVP tonight?
As far as players,
Players.
maybe Deshaun. Yeah, probably I see Deshaun. coming Deshaun. in.
We're also going to add who's going to be the LVP tonight.
Is TJ coming?
Not again.
You know I
Don't
had
start.
to get
Don't
him.
start
You
that
had to do
again.
that.
Don't start that
I had
again.
to get him.
TJ, I did not bring that up. I did not do that.
He told me to say it earlier.
Is there anybody on offense that you think cannot dress besides Connor Heyward?
Connor could dress. He dressed better than you.
No, he can't.
Rate his fit. What do you think of his
Rate
suit?
it. Rate it. Go ahead, Pat.
It's bold.
It's bold.
I want Larry's
Bold.
opinion. Larry's
Bold.
the fashion guy here. Larry, what do you think?
It's different. I like it. The watch, the accents, you got the chains on. It's good. It's good.
You know, Larry's the
It's different.
fashionista
I like
up
it.
here.
I know that's who you want to approve. That's very nice.
I want to bring up, if you could give a Mount Rushmore of just well-dressed individuals on the team, who would you put?
Larry's on there.
Larry,
Deshaun.
I feel like
You hired a stylist.
You stepped it
We
up.
made it
up
up
to the Mount
He
Rushmore.
he wants it.
He hired a
Oh,
stylist.
okay, never. If you hired a stylist, I don't know.
He does. He cheats. He hires a stylist.
He cheats.
He cheats.
Because you definitely stepped it up.
I
from
have
the gray
stepped it up.
sweats.
I have stepped it up.
Yeah, I'm not wearing gray sweats, unlike some people.
Comfortable. Comfortable is key.
We have a big important game this week. We play the Dallas Cowboys. Tell me what you guys think about that game.
I think it's a great opportunity. You know, Sunday Night Football. It's going to be the most televised game in a long time. So, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for us to go out there and play Steeler football. You know what I'm saying? So, let's do it. Great opportunity. You know, prime time at our house. Nothing better than that. So, we're excited.
We see the offense starting to click more and more. Speak to how it is and how you guys are growing together.
Yeah, we're just, you know, trusting each other, trusting what Art, puts in the game plan, and we just gotta trust each other. The quarterback's been playing great, so I continue to build on that.
All right, I want to go around the league. Anybody around the league that you think has a good style?
Probably Devon Gotcha from the Patriots. Diggs is good. Yeah, I'd probably say those two are. Kyle Van Noy, yeah, he has some good style too. I'd say those three.
Is there any tips you would give to all of our viewers tonight of how to be a good dresser?
I feel like it's all about the person inside the outfit. You gotta have the confidence. You gotta feel good. You know, I mean, if you feel good and comfortable about your fit, I think the rest will take care of it. I think confidence is really the key.
Now, we do have some cocky individuals that cannot dress. I'm not going to say any names. And they're not up here right now, but to them, what would you say? What would you say would be, what would you do to help them in how they dress? Without naming any names.
I'd say step out the box. You don't always have to wear what's comfortable. You can give yourself a chance to kind of just see what you like. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, there's always clothes that can look good but can also be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like even this, it looks good but it's super comfortable. So you can do both.
I like it. Any words of advice?
Just dress to be comfortable.
All right, we do have Russell Wilson's line being shown tonight. Are you guys going to get some free merch? And will you guys be wearing the clothing anytime soon?
Well, I guess so, yeah.
Free is free promo. Right? He hasn't done that for the offense yet?
He said what?
He hasn't done that for the offense, giving y'all some free merch?
No, not yet. But he has something back there for us. So I'm excited. I get to wear it tonight, so can't wait.
All right, last question. You want to go? You go first. Go ahead.
Rather dress summertime or wintertime?
Winter. Yeah,
Well,
I feel
you're
like
comfortable.
Winter,
I get that.
winter you can really get in your bag, but summertime is good too. But I like winter too.
You sure about that? I feel like you're a summer guy. You're on Miami Beach.
Linen. Feels like he wears a lot of linen.
Oh yeah. Nice little silky.
Yeah. It's comfortable. It's comfortable.
Comfortable but clean.
Yeah.
Last question. What would you guys say about how the season's going?
I think it's going solid. The defense is playing great. Offense is starting to click. I think we got a lot of good football ahead of us, so we just got to continue to build, and hopefully we got to stack more wins. I think good, but not satisfied. I feel like we know where we can be and what we can do, especially after last week. You know what I'm saying? Like we have high standards, and I think it's not just enough to get there. We're trying to go somewhere further.
Oh, this just reminded me. I want to make sure I ask about this. What were your thoughts about when Darnell had his little highlight play? I want to make sure to hear about what you thought about the jump, the stiff arm. What did y'all think about that?
I didn't think he was gonna jump.
I thought it was funny because I saw a clip and it said Darnell was 250. And we
Oh,
all know
no.
how much Darnell weighs. And I'm not going to air him out like that, but
He's
it
not
made
that.
it so, but like it's freaky though to do that at his size, his real size. So yeah.
His real size.
Do you have any tips for him, Pat, after a play like that?
Oh, after a play like that?
Or just, is there anything you would critique in that moment?
Oh, no. I'm never going to hurdle someone. I keep my feet on
Wait,
the ground.
you don't hurdle people?
I keep my feet on the ground where I can control what happens.
That is cap. That is cap.
I don't hurdle.
So when they start going for your legs,
They
you're
might
not
have to. They might have to. But yeah,
Baby Gronk, right?
chill out.
All right, I want to say thank you so much. Make sure we give it up for Larry and Pat right now. All right, guys. Hope you guys love listening to the episode. It was a lot of fun. To think about it, it was 50 years since the conception of the fashion show. And so that covers guys like Mel Blount to Franco Harris to, Ben Roethlisberger to, now. The one thing I love that we didn't really get to touch on, but we got to see was Mel Blount was actually there, him and Rocky Blyer. And Larry Ogunjobi came up to me and was like, that was a corner? I think we don't give enough props to what Mel did in his era in dominating guys, not just by, sheer, height and everything, but man, they changed the game because of Mel Blount. And so it was fun getting the chance to see him again. And the fashion show, it was a hit. There were, some well-dressed guys, young and old. And so it was a fun event. And we appreciate the Steelers for having us.
Totally agree on the Mel Blount. That guy, to this day, I don't know how old he is. He looks great, and that guy is physically imposing. I mean, he is a big dude. And I was there when Larry asked that, and we're like, yeah, he's the reason pass interference exists now, because that guy would just maul defenders or offensive guys. So very cool event. And it was nice to see everybody get dressed up. I thought your suit was great. Everyone else loved it too. So you look good.
Yeah, I just didn't get to wear it I on the stage. So, I was still ticked that fashion MVP has, not come my way. But we'll take care of that later.
Who won the fashion MVP? I don't even know who it was.
Russell Wilson in family.
Wow.
In Family.
Wow.
Well, he did have a line there, so, we'll give him credit.
Yeah, he kind of, okay. All right, let's go to some fan questions from our friends at Behind the Steel Curtain, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, this is for you. Your father was an old-school style running back. With the NFL focused on high-scoring games, is there a current running back that reminds you of your father's style? If no current, any retired running backs?
Oh, I don't know if any current. Running backs aren't built like how they were back in the day. I think we missed the big running backs. I think my dad and Jerome Bettis were pretty similar. It could be 3 yards in a cloud of dust, or it could be to the house pretty quickly. Who else? When you look at him, I don't like to put like Steven Jackson because I feel like he was abnormally, fast to be a running back. But when I just think about my dad, I think about how Jerome was, and I know they shared a friendship. So the big running backs stay together.
Yeah, I think the funny thing about your dad though and Jerome, right? They were bigger guys, but they could run away from you too.
Oh, yeah.
Like they could easily run away from you. Like Jerome's got a couple long ones, as does your dad. So it's like they'll run through you, or they could also run by you too. So as always, I agree. Bettis kind of came to mind immediately with that one though. All right, well, let's go to the next one. All right, what's one of the funniest roasts you've ever heard Tomlin say to a player in the film room?
I always think it's fun when man, these are not easy to keep.
I was going to say, you got to be PG-13 a little bit on it, right?
I can't even be PG-13 because it's still, but I think, man, when he gets into, either squashing grapes or sipping wine, and, sometimes he goes pretty in on the analogy, and he's like, "Oh man, I can't even go to that story, man. I'm gonna get myself in trouble." So I'll talk about mine. I think one of the funniest times is just when he gave me hell for running back a kick return. I think
It always goes back to that. It's always that one. That's like the only mistake you've ever made, it sounds like.
no, it's not the only mistake I've ever made, but that's one of the most glaring things I've done. Where he asked me like, "What the hell are you thinking? Like, get the hell down. I don't give a damn. You I didn't put you back there to catch kicks." So, but yeah,
Would you say he's funny?
yeah,
Yeah, he's funny?
yeah.
Okay. So are they clever or are they kind of like mean funny?
They're clever to an extent, but then like once you heard them all, you're like, oh, he's just recycling a little bit. I think they're very clever. I think the thing you got to look, it's not just a roast; it's to poke and prod, and we take pride in what you do. And if you take pride in what you do, you should feel some type of way about it. You should, there's been times where I sit back in my chair like this, where I'm just like, oh my gosh, please don't show me bad plays. And multiple guys have done that because it's like, man, like it hurts in that moment, but like it's one of those things that's going to stick with you for, no matter what.
Yeah, you won't make that mistake a second time, I guess, right?
Yes.
In his defense, too, though, not a lot of guys do it for 15 years. I mean, you've been there long enough to where, of course, he's going to recycle some of it.
Yeah.
Okay, one more, okay? You are known for your dangerous one-arm bull rush as a player. What would you say is your second favorite pass rush move? And I will say, I sent you one from this week that I even said, man, I know you've done it a couple times, but that spin move, still doing it at a high level. That was nice.
I don't know if it's a favorite. I think it's just it's in the utility belt. You keep it stashed away. The spin. I like that a lot. Speed. Swipes. I think one of my favorite moves that I don't get to use a lot is my rip to hump. The old Reggie White move. Been working on that a bunch, and I want to get that on camera pretty soon.
I know situations change or whatever, but if you have a go-to move, is it the bull rush or what is your one, like you got to get to the quarterback now? What is it?
Just depends on how the game's going. It could be if they're sitting back, I might go bull, or if they're jumping the line of scrimmage, I may go spin. I could go swipe. I think it's understanding the situation, understanding what you want to do in those moments.
You setting stuff up in the first quarter so you can maybe play off it later?
Of course.
Always?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. I still say that spin move, man. I saw it. It was actually on Alex's he posted that too, and I was like, man, you look quick right there, big guy. That was nice.
Don't
The
look
spin move was
surprised,
good.
bro. Don't look surprised.
Listen. You're a big power guy, okay? When you drop the spin move, it's always impressive. It is. Because people don't think you got that in your bag. That's why.
It's that ignorance that allows me to play as long as I do, because when you say stuff like that, I'm going to try and prove you wrong from here on out.
I agree with you, and that's cool. But I will say, like, if you ever listen to people talk about you, they always say it's the bull rush. No one's ever like, man, he's got a killer spin move. Okay, they don't give you the credit for that, but it looks great. Looks really good. You're working. I love the work you're putting in. Great job, buddy.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, let's move on to game balls and TFLs.
All right, go for it. You want to start off?
All right, first game ball, I got to give to my guy, TJ Watt, for reaching 100 sacks. Second fastest, only to Reggie White, the greatest D lineman of all time. When I think about this, man, TJ has, he skyrocketed up there. We've needed every one of his sacks. The way he prepares, the way he goes about his business, it's not surprising that he did that. I think, he's got a chance to keep climbing and keep moving up the rankings.
How quickly did you know that he was going to be a historic pass rusher? Because you're right. For you to be on a list with you and Reggie White, I mean, he beat his brother to 100. He beat Bruce Smith to 100. He's beaten a lot of great players to 100. How quickly did you realize, man, this guy is special?
Well, I think early on, he was lined up on my side, and I think he moved to the other side because he didn't want to share any sacks with me. But I think just his level of understanding when he came into this game. A lot of guys, they don't understand, scheme. They don't understand what to look for. TJ comes in with a plan, and he was ready to execute pretty early on.
Yeah, awesome accomplishment, though, for him. Happy for him. All right, I'm going to go game ball to Vanderbilt's quarterback, Diego Pavia. 16 of 20, 252, 2 touchdowns, and a huge upset win over Alabama. Man, that was fun to watch. And I will say there was a play late in that game. They were up 3 or 2. 4th down, he play actions, hits a deep shot, and that pretty much ended the game. I thought that was an awesome game of a great weekend of college football and another great weekend coming up. But Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt had no offers, I believe, to come out of high school. Hell of a game, man.
Diego, you did your job. But I will say this, Hayden, you sound like a fan right now, and you only give credit to one guy on the field. Give it up for Vanderbilt, bro. They got the game done. It wasn't just one player. It was a team effort. They deserve a game ball. They ripped down the goalposts. I don't know where the goalposts ended up.
Dude, it was in downtown.
Yeah.
It was in downtown.
What are you doing with the goalpost? Where does the goalpost end up? Or when does the school say, all right, enough is enough, give us back our goalpost?
You'd imagine just having a cocktail somewhere and you look out and there's just a goalpost being just taken down the middle of the street. I'm with you. But great. Listen, but that's why college football is awesome, right? You get to get on the field and take the goalpost out of the stadium. It's just insane. That's just nuts.
Well, if we win a Super Bowl, let's just rip down the goalpost.
Love it. Love that idea. That would be great. All right, my second game ball, my last game ball goes to, I'm going to give credit to the whole team here. Miami, coming back from 25 down, insane comeback. And I would say if anybody's into gambling and you happen to put money on them to come back from 25 down and it was plus 1,000, you're probably extremely happy with them and willing to give them a game ball. So go Miami.
Did you do that or something?
I'm just saying if somebody did do it. I don't know.
I
know you didn't do it. But if if you had done it, you're very happy with Miami. But it was a great football game, like I said. Also, too, big fan of the late night kicks. I love a 10:30 kick. Okay, I know you can't watch it on Saturday nights, but I love a 10:30 kick.
Okay. I could care less about your 10:30 kicks because we played at 10:30 not too long ago. So,
dude, that delay! Oh my god.
We'll get to that in a little bit. But my last game ball goes to NFL and UFC fans because guess what? We got a match between James Harrison and Chad Ochocinco, and I can't wait to watch. I think it's going to be another Steelers beating the Bengals. And I'm looking forward to watching James wreck shop.
We got to be concerned for Ocho here, right? I mean, that's why they have weight classes in fighting like that.
Hey, Ocho's not running away from it. But I will say this. I talked to James. We will get him on the pod when he gets out of camp. He's taking it seriously. So best of luck, Ocho. Deal what you got to get to. But just know Debo's been training for moments like this a long time.
Don't. I mean, you're giving him a reason to fight now, and don't let him get into your body because I am worried if he gets near because it's a UFC style fight, right?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, he's gonna get slammed. Oh man, I don't know. That's crazy. All right, you want to go to TFLs?
Let's go to TFLs.
Go ahead, you can start.
My first TFL, going back to the game on Sunday, that storm delay. I am sorry, fans. Having to wait around for, a fun game like that made it extremely humid. Man, that was one of the latest games I've ever been a part of. We were Hayden was at the house. We didn't get home till about 2:30. And so, wow, you forget how late games can get. But, yeah, man, that storm delay. We were all just in the locker room, just, shoulder pads on. They finally gave us a warning 30 minutes out that we could start the game. So it's like you're re-warming up again. So it's very different.
What's the energy like in the locker room during that? It's got to be weird, right?
Yeah, because you don't want to get too hyped. You don't want to get, overstimulated, but you want to stay loose, guys are just, trying to do what they can. It's you don't want it to be an excuse, but it's definitely different.
Yeah, no, definitely a long night, and man, that was crazy. That was wild. All right, I'm gonna give, you said got to give credit to the whole team here. One of my TFLs, Alabama football. That is a bad loss. The fans are in absolute shambles. And I tell you, dude, if you haven't listened, go listen to the callers at the Paul Feinbaum show. My boy Legend is, wow.
Why are you smiling so much when you say Alabama?
Because it's great. It's hilarious. I mean, dude, they are losing their minds. I'm like, he just beat Georgia last week, and now they want him fired.
Yeah,
like it's just crazy college football and how wacky we can get about the sport. But I'm gonna have to give Alabama. I haven't lost to Vandy in I think 40 years or something crazy. So it's insane.
And shout out to the video department for playing the Nick Saban video after Vanderbilt won. I thought that was, if you want to play petty, we can play petty. But I just thought it was a nice, subtle. Hey, don't ever take us for granted, bro. Like, respect who you play, and if you're gonna come here, make sure you have you're on your game.
In Saban's defense, though, he did beat them every single time he played them.
Very true.
Like, that's on DeBoer, man. That's on him.
My last TFL, let's go to it. Staying on the college football front, 4 out of the top 10 schools lost this week. And, man, you looking for college shakeups. When you have Alabama go down, when you have who was it? Oh, man.
I mean, Michigan lost, but I don't think they were really a top 10 team. So we don't have to get into that.
We can get into it. You want to talk about that?
I mean,
our correspondent. You want to talk about?
I will say Jack Tuttle seemed to be a bright spot at quarterback, but other than that, I mean, there's really not a whole lot of good to talk about.
Yeah. Who did Arkansas? Oh, Tennessee lost.
Tennessee lost too.
And then what was the last team?
Missouri.
Missouri. Oh,
Missouri got stomped. Yeah.
And I will say this: the crazy thing is, Vanderbilt had a chance to beat Missouri this past week. So it's like, to overlook Vanderbilt is kind of very glaring because they had you would say a pretty tough week in losing a tough game. But man, college football is here, man. It's hard to just pick one, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this college playoff.
Well, I'd also say, too, USC was number 11 and lost 2 at Minnesota. So a lot of the top teams losing. Got a great week coming up this week, Oregon and Ohio State, and I think Penn State, USC also play each other. So those are 2 big games in the Big Ten. All right, my last one, going back to Love is Blind, Leo, just tackle for loss on the whole thing. I mean, that guy, I hope it gets better, but I have no faith. I think we're going to hear about money for the rest of this year of Love is Blind, and I think it's going to be really funny when I hope he ends up with somebody outside of the pods, because that guy needs to be on the show.
And you know what? We might be over speaking on it. Maybe it was just the cameras kept calling back to that moment, but man, I hope it gets better from here on out.
I don't. I hope it stays bad. It's good for the show.
You just love chaos, don't you?
It's reality TV. What are you expecting? You want it to be good?
Yeah,
no, it's got to be.
I want
it's got to be chaos.
I want to see people find their true love.
See, but you will. Like, I think like our boy Tyler, like you had mentioned, I think he's in good shape to find true love. But a guy like Leo, it never works out like that for because he's a jerk.
So which one are you more paying attention to? Are you paying attention to Tyler?
Leo, baby. It's Leo. Okay? I like the chaos.
Oh.
It's Leo, man. You are, dude, you're going to be all over Leo, too, once he gets out there. Oh. Nikki D, too. I hope Nikki D ends up with somebody, too, so we can keep seeing him.
Okay. Well, guys, please keep coming around for our Love is Blind takes. They're very interesting. But that is our episode. Thank you for listening to Not Just Football with Cam Heyward. And, we'll see you next time. Like and subscribe. See you later.